Hello, everybody. See that people can see me. Can you hear me at the same time? You're going to have to turn up your volume. I'm going to tell you right now because I'm not going to talk too loudly because I am coming to you from an undisclosed Starbucks location. So, what's up, everyone? Snaps Giant R. That's me. So how's it look, guys? How does it sound? How does it look? I know that I'm quiet, but I can't talk much louder than this. So, how is it coming across? Okay? Maybe? Possibly? Is it all good? Can people hear and see and all that kind of good stuff? I wait with bated breath for the delay. Maybe? Delay? Don't fail me now? I sound kind of robotic. Well, that's possible. I guess the real question is whether I'm talking too loudly. Because I can't really talk much louder than this, or it's going to be bad. I'm going to be self-conscious. But can you guys hear me okay, or not? Also, I have to say, I'm streaming this all from my laptop because the upload and download here is pretty good, and so I'm streaming this. Shout. It's okay enough. Hey, Love Luster. You can hear me okay? I'm streaming this actually from my laptop. So this is not even ArtBox. Good to see you, Love Luster. Thank you for stopping by. This isn't even ArtBox. This is like Arv. I've got to think of a new name for it. It's like Arv Laptop. Because I wasn't going to bring my whole rig to a Starbucks, but I thought I would give this a try because I have an i7 in this Lenovo of mine. So I thought I'd give it a shot. So yeah, this is kind of an impromptu thing, guys. I'm going to give this a try and see. I've been trying to figure out ways to do a little bit more of the creative stuff on my stream. ArvTop. There you go. ArvTop. ArvTop. I like that. Eventually there's just going to be an Arv fleet. It's going to be just all of it together. But I sound like an aeronaut. But what was I going to say? So yeah, so I'm trying to think of how to include more stuff that's creative into the mix, because that is what I do for a living and stuff. So I thought I would give a try to actually doing some writing and having you guys watch along as I do it. Now, this is an experiment because I don't know how having chat on one side and the manuscript on the other is going to work. And also, this doesn't interfere with my stream at night, so I am going to stream tonight my game stuff as usual. But I thought I would take a shot and see. I shall not think it would be an appropriate joke with the name ArvTop. Very nice, very nice. So we'll see, but I want to give it a try and see what it is. And I managed to download OBS Studio and rebuild again the scenes for this particular thing. This is what happens when I come up with an idea after I drop my daughter off from school. At school, and also after I left the house. Because if I had left the house, if I remembered, I could have brought all of my stuff. I could have just transferred it onto a flash drive. No. So I had to rebuild everything. So that's the deal. I should also stream my lectures. You know, the thing is, Gil, I would think about doing something like that, except I am somewhat concerned about my university's reaction to it, quite honestly. I have this image of my university being like, you're doing what for free now, exactly, from St. John's? So I don't know. I have thought about it, though, and I may eventually run it by my chairperson and see what they say. Because, like, for example, I'm doing a presentation on Monday with Chrono Wolf in my creative writing class, who's the guy who does my Icarus soundtrack. And he is, he's going to be doing this presentation on music to my creative writing class. And it might be cool to be able to put that on a Twitch channel as well. But I have to think about, there's also privacy issues with my students, so I have to, I don't know, I have to think about all that stuff. But Judge Dawson periscopes in the courtroom. Oh, that's cool, Satuki. Yeah, the IRL stuff has been really cool. I actually did an IRL stream to Micro Center when I bought my wife's laptop and my new rig at home, my new desktop. And that was kind of cool. So we'll see. But I checked it out, and the upload and download here is really good. It's like 10. It's like 20 down and 12 up or something like that. So I thought, okay. Oh, see, look at that. See, we already have a new follower. What's up, Darkstar? Welcome. I'm really happy that the follower notification worked, too. So, yeah, so we're going to be doing that. So I'm going to be writing, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not playing a game right now. I'm going to be playing a game tonight. So if you came for games, sorry, but I got your back tonight. But if you came for writing, then you're in the right place. And I'm going to be working on my manuscript Renegade. I'll probably have these sections of sort of, sort of thinking. And if I do that, then just, and you have a question for me, feel free to throw it in chat, and I'll respond. And I think the last thing I want to do is I want to check the delay. So since I happen to have a delicious treat here, I'm going to ask you all to type in the word when you see this or hear this, cookie. Okay, I'm going to count how long. Cookie. Okay. So that's about 14 seconds. That's not too bad. That delay isn't too bad. It's chocolate chunk. So, it's good. Okay, cool. Well, and let's get to it. Let's switch over and see if I got this all working right. Lovely. Alright. Nope, wrong thing. Not what I meant to do. I want cookies. I wish I could send mine to you, Terry. But I am in America, unfortunately, and you're in Germany, so I can't get you this cookie. But maybe you should go get one in my honor, Terry. Maybe you should go to a Starbucks. They have Starbucks in Germany, don't they? Maybe you should go to a German Starbucks and get a cookie. I assume they have Starbucks in Germany. Okay. Let's do it up then. Alright, let's see what we got. I might as well set this up too. This particular chapter, right? Love Lester, Germany Starbucks. I'm telling you. You have an IKEA. You have an IKEA, but you don't have a Starbucks? Okay, well here's the thing. If you have an IKEA, then that means you can get Swedish meatballs. And those are delicious. So, there's compensations. I mean, you don't have Starbucks, but you do have Swedish meatballs. Okay, so to set up this chapter that I'm working on is chapter 9. And I should mention, by the way, that for those of you who are interested, who want to be completely unspoiled by Book 2 of the Grey Assassin trilogy, you may want to look away. But one of the reasons I thought it was okay to do this is because this is the second book of the trilogy, and it's the middle of the second book. So by the time you guys actually read this, because this is going to be published in about 7-8 months, so by the time you guys read this, hopefully you will have forgotten the middle section, and that kind of thing. Can we point out typos? If you like, Kill, sure. Pear juice. Really? I know that they have lingonberry. Love Lester. I know they have lingonberry, but I didn't know about pear juice. That's cool. But anyway, so in this chapter, Greyshade has left the city of Corel, which is where the first book takes place, and he is traveling out trying to track down information about this conspiracy that he got caught up in, basically. Oh, yeah, I wasn't actually even in the middle. Yes, that's a good call, Kel. But I was going to come back to that anyway. This is basically this section where there's this group of soldiers that he's been following, and he is now seeing a group of people that he thinks are acolytes of Argoth, which is the assassin's order that he used to belong to. And he sees this group basically closing in on the group of soldiers that Greyshade has been following. And the assumption is that they're going to try to kill them. So Greyshade's job here is to try to get rid of the attack if he possibly can. Also, I should point out that he has with him a creature that's been accompanying him, a panther, called Chaos, Caoes, after his teacher, Chaosthenes. And so the panther will make an appearance. So let's do it. No, listen, there's nothing dickish about that. I am interested to see how much people try to backseat my writing. That'll be an interesting experience. But no, I appreciate taking out rendered had unconscious, which didn't make sense. All right, so let's see where we're at here. I usually like to start the paragraph before, so I can remember where I was. Let's see. Between my eyes again into the left, following the farmhouse that stood to the opposite corner. Part of the beam with one supported the roof still stood. No, proofreader is usually, no, those things can be combined to give you quite a bit. Proofreader usually often is put together really traditionally. Alright, as I came to a stop and looked around the beam, I saw something just on the side of the house on the ground and followed still in the direction of the beam in front of the house. The light from the campfire was brighter here and there caused me to watch as a figure pulled something forth from the little fold of their cloak. I'm so glad, by the way, that there and they is now become an acceptable gender-neutral pronoun in the singular. Can't even tell you guys how much easier it makes it as a writer if I don't have to be constantly identifying he versus she, especially when the figure's in a cloak and it could be either. So, I have to type in a limerick to trigger the typo HUD quest. The light from the campfire was brighter here. They placed a few lifts before anything else could happen. I was on them, wrapping my arm around their neck and pulling backwards as I put my knee into their back. The figure reached back from my arm and pulled at it, trembling wildly but silently, and jerked around with surprising strength. But now I was ready and held my grip as emotions grew more feeble and then ceased. As quietly as I could, I pulled the figure back down the wall, then lay it down. Front of the house. Usually just the, I just usually read through, all I have to do usually is read the last page, so it's easy. I mean, if it's been a while since I've written, I may have to read longer, but usually a page is fine. Into the firelight. Feet. Okay. It's a woman with dark shoulder-length hair, lips twisted with her escape, and her face again surprised by the age. All these accolades being recruited this young man. Had I grown old in the meantime? Old enough that the two I had rendered unconscious could easily have been my own children. I frowned. I haven't. Ah. You. Sure is, Gil. It sure is. Yeah, a little bit, Terry. More Latin than Germanic, but there's definitely Greek roots in there for sure. I mean, remember that Latin itself is influenced by Greek roots, so. Just make into true believers. There we go. I know, it really is, isn't it, Lobster? It's like this just calm sort of, I agree. Sometimes so soothing if I'm in a section that I'm, that's sort of tedious for me to go through. I'm often just like, you know. It's a good question, Swatifi. There's a general quota that I want to try to meet, definitely per week, I would say. I think you're right about that. And certainly by month, although it's an adjustable quota. Part of my problem, part of the stuff that led to my health problems at the end of last year was the fact that I was hewing too closely to a quota that I wasn't going to be able to meet without basically losing sleep and putting incredible amounts of stress on myself. And, excuse me, and that wasn't good for anybody. So I do have a quota, like a general, this is what I want to get done by this time, but I'm trying not to be overly rigid about it because I'm so anal about trying to get stuff done anyway that it would take a long time for the pendulum to swing over to where I wasn't getting enough work finished, you know what I mean? I need to get work finished within a balance of my schedule, so yeah. If that makes sense. Is it really, Terry? Wow. That doesn't really surprise me. I'm actually slightly surprised that they went the Kickstarter route again. I kind of thought they had enough resources and funds to be able to do it on their own without the need of a Kickstarter. But, I mean, it'll be a huge success, I don't see how I can miss. No, why would you be sorry, Swatifi? That's a perfectly legitimate question to ask. And the answer is probably different for every author that you ask, for sure. I don't think so, Kel. I mean, could I? Probably. But it would be too high a cost to pay health-wise. NaNoWriMo I think is always interesting, but that month in particular is impossible for me because it's November, which is not a month. I mean, that's during the fall semester. There's no way I could do that. Beyond that, to me, the writing at that speed, just for me, is not writing that I think tends to be good. My writing, I mean. There are exceptions, like when I did the short story on the creative stream a few days back on Tuesday. I wrote a whole 16-page story, which is like, I don't know, 4,500 words, almost 5,000 words, and that was, 4 hours? That needs some revision, but I mean, that was done fast. But that takes a lot out of me, honestly, writing at that speed. So, yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. I've never tried that speed, but I have tried to write very quickly. And I think my top speed, honestly, my legitimate speed is probably like a novel between 80 to 100,000 words every other year. I think that's what I can really do. A novel a year is rough. This 3-book series is tough, and probably in the future I'm not going to agree to a 3-book contract that is 1-1-1. Every other year I can do, certainly, but every year is tough, and it's something I didn't know, and now I know that about myself, and I will keep that in mind, But Exactly, kilobyte. Yep. Sounds real easy until you have to do it. That's exactly right. Oh yeah, Love Luster. That's interesting. Yeah, it's true. I was talking yesterday with my students in my fantasy fiction class. We were talking about the conclusion of Beowulf, and one of the points that was being made that we talked about was this idea that youthfulness is wasted on the young, by which they mean, when you're young and, full strength and energy and vitality and all that stuff, that's the moment that you need to be able to take advantage of that strength and vitality and not do stupid stuff and not be as driven by what other people think of you and blah, 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 blah. But you don't have the wisdom to do it. And so as you get older and you gain that wisdom, then you may not have as much of the strength and vitality and everything else. So it's always a balancing act. And one of the things that I often think about that Love Luster is that I don't blame the young for being that way because that's why they're young. It's like it would be like blaming myself for being however I was when I was 17. But it's one of those things where it's hard for parents, and I feel this myself now that I have a 9-year-old. Uh, it's like I can't. We want so desperately to spare our children the pain that we experienced, and to spare the kids that not protect them from everything because you can't do that, but to spare them some of the worst feelings of doubt and uncertainty that we all went through. But you kind of you can't do that for them unless they get to a certain age and they understand. Like, they can't understand it until they understand it. And so the way that you do it, or at least what my wife and I try to do, is to be there, to be present, to be open, and to be transparent as much as we can with my daughter and be like, we understand it's hard. We understand that life is hard. We understand that growing up is hard. And but we're here, and there's also wonderful things about life too. And it's usually a fairly good combination. Yeah, yeah, sort of agree, Terry. Not entirely. You can't spare children pain permanently, but I do think you can. You can be careful to sort of give them. You can give them exposure to things as they become old enough to accept it. That is to say, there's stuff that my daughter was very sensitive, and so a lot of what we've done is sort of gradually introduce her to things on a steady basis, so that she's much better able to handle things. And I do think sometimes that parents who want to just be like, well, you better learn the deal, kid, they give the kid everything at the age of 5, and then they're like, oh, the kid is totally capable of handling it. No, they're not. And they may not tell you how much they're hurting, and they may not tell you how scared they are, and they may not, but that doesn't mean it's the case. So a lot of what parenting is assessing your child and then recognizing that age appropriate is a thing and being able to give them what they need when they need it. And so that's the key. I agree that you can't shelter your kids forever, and you shouldn't. But I do think that as children grow up with a foundation of security, and as they have obstacles they have to face and overcome, as long as they feel like they have an obstacle they have to overcome, that it's okay to fail, because failure is what teaches us how to do something better the next time, and it's okay to make mistakes, and that we will always be there with her and my son when he gets older, with love, no matter what happens under any circumstances. That's enormously important. Oh, you're not a screw up, Terry. Come on, you're not a screw up. That's true. A lot of it, Sutifi, it's a good question. I don't see. I think it's hard to break down the numbers because there are, of like how many times I do that. because it really depends. Like, there are times when um, I don't know how to put it. There are times when I just, like, a sentence just works, and I never change it again. And then there's times where a sentence isn't working, and I'm sitting there having to change it like 3 or 4 times to get it right. And then there are times when I think a sentence works, but then when I read through the book again later, I'm like, eh. And sometimes that also has to come with perspective, where if I see on page 75 that I was using, ellipses quite a bit, right? Dot, dot, dot. And I was using it all the time. I may notice that, and so page 76, 77, 78, I start mixing it up. I use semicolons, I use more compound sentences, I break up the sentences. So it really kind of depends. I couldn't give it like a hard and fast rule. I guess the only thing I can say is that nothing ever gets written once and then completely not looked at again. I'm always either revising at the time or later on, and when I end up changing it, if I change it, sort of varies. So, yeah. There you go, Kill. That's right. Like, for instance, that sentence I just wrote, in that event I need to be especially careful. I don't love that sentence, but I'm not going to worry about it now because I'm going to come back to it later, and when I come back to it later, I'll have thought of something that I prefer to that sentence. You also have to be careful. Sometimes this happens with writers where they'll write and they'll get stuck in a sentence and then they'll just beat their head into the wall and spend hours trying just to get one sentence right, and you will never get anything written that way. Sometimes you got to just write something, leave it, and recognize that you will come back to it and adjust it as time goes on. That's why writing is as much a art as it is a science. It's sort of the work with the organic process of your own body and brain. Yeah, I got you, Satifa, yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. I have to admit, Kilobyte, that I have not read Camus' The Plague. I am sadly ignorant. I mean, I know about it, of course, but oh, very cool, Kilobyte. Right now, the only hijinks are people chatting about things not relating to writing behind me. Nice. When did they launch the Kickstarter, Terry? Less than 24 hours? Okay. Wow. Not surprising. What's the amount? What was the amount that they were using for funding? Because, the actual amount is never the the goal amount is never the actual amount. The real amount is the stuff that's way beyond it. So what was their initial amount? Now, you know what I'm going to do? I get a bite of my cookie every page that I finish. When I finish a page, I get a bite of cookie. That's how it works. Page, cookie. Page, cookie. Wow, really? 1.1 million? Nice. So I predict they're going to want at least, they're actually going to want at least 2.5, would be my guess. And I think they'll probably get it. They're going to get at least 2.5 because they're going to want to do pre-orders basically for it. Glorious. Yes, glorious is the word. There we go. Look at just this webcam for maximum comfort. Where's my maximum comfort at? Okay, I want you to tilt, please. Tilt. Launch tilt. What? That's unfortunate. All right. Look. Oh, they did that all without PayPal donations. That's pretty good, actually. Wilcon, I've applied, Sir TV. I applied, so it's going to take a while to hear back from them, though, because Wilcon doesn't happen until, I think, late August, early September. I think it's late August. So it's going to take them a couple of months to get back to everybody. But I applied. If I get in, I'll probably come, is my guess. I'm doing a lot fewer conventions this year. I did 12 last year. I'm probably going to do more like 7, possibly 8. But Worldcon would be one of the focal points. If I don't do Worldcon, I'll probably do World Fantasy in San Antonio. But I'd rather probably do Worldcon. It is more expensive and it's more of a pain, but it's also Worldcon, which is bigger, and also Finland, which I've never been to. So I need to brush up on my French existentialist literature. Yeah, well, I don't deny it. I do not deny it. Oh yeah, I'll do that, So TV. I'll announce it for sure. Believe me, I will call in all kinds of, guess who's coming to Finland? Believe me, that'll be our visits Finland. That'll be. Trust me, that'll happen. I actually did a video that right before my daughter was born in 2008. No, 2007. Sorry. I went to Norway for a conference on perspectives in evil and literature and stuff. And we no, is that right? No, that wasn't it. That was on. I'm sorry. That was on VS Naipaul, and it was great. We went and we went to Oslo, and then we went through Flom, and we went to Bergen. It was amazing. So I should brush up on my French existentialist literature so I can feel the crushing weight of my own mortality. Oh, Sartre, yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be cool, Satipi, trust me. Yeah, in fact, it is. I'll tell you exactly when it is. It's. Yeah, it's earlier. It's August 9th to 13th. I forgot it was that early. Wait a minute. When is? Okay, whew. Gen Con is August 17th. That's fine. Because that is my first priority, so. Okay, cool. August is going to be busy. Busy, busy bee. You had a phase that you're an angsty teenager. Well, that's when you want Sartre, right? You're all about Sartre when you're an angsty teenager. Because he's the only one who understands me, man. We're just about to start studying John Gardner's Grendel Kilovite, which if you haven't read, I highly recommend. And it's all about existentialism, nihilism to a degree, so much philosophy and everything. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh man, Gardner's Grendel is so good. I love it. No, I have not read Sophie's World. Nope. I don't think I've even heard of Sophie's World. I've heard of Sophie's Choice. Never heard of Sophie's World though. Very cool. No, I've never heard of that, Kel. It's interesting. I've never heard of that. No, that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. It's had film and video game adaptations. Wow, feels like something I took philosophy courses in college. I never heard about this. I will have to check that out. Four Shores. That back though. That back. Best-selling novel in 1995. Okay, well, that would have been 1995. I was doing my master's degree, but not in philosophy. So, knowing the way academics work, it means they needed at least another 10 years to recognize it. So by that time, I was already in the middle of my teaching career. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That sweet, sweet shift of the new page. You wouldn't know that too anyway. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the laptop's ability to stream this because I'm actually recording while I'm streaming. So that's pretty sweet. I mean, I'm not doing anything very taxing, obviously, but it's taking this i7. It's a 4700, so it's not as good as my desktop i7. It's pretty good, though. I mean, that's the implications for this are really great because it means that if I have legitimate internet and I happen to be in a place where I can't take ARFbox for whatever reason, ARFtop might be a viable alternative. So that's cool. It's good to know. We'll see, of course, what it's like if I were doing this plus also playing a game on top of it. I don't know, but anyway. Okay, thanks, Terry. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you later on. Hopefully see you tonight for some Dishonored 2 action. If you're around, and if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Or at some point. See you. Oh, I told you. We got to the next page. That means I get a bite of cookie. Write a page, get a cookie. Or get a bite of cookie. What's up, Julia? I'm streaming in 4:3 instead of 16:9. Really? I shouldn't be. Let me take a look. Oh, you know what? You know why I'm doing that? Because I'm dumb. Oh man, I know exactly why that happened. Let me fix that. I know how to fix that. To fix that, I'm going to have to stop streaming. So I'm going to stop streaming and then I'll come right back. Thank you. I didn't notice that. Give me 1 second.